The entire globe is today the site of a momentous conflict. As each side attempts to prove to the world the superiority of its position, the conflict is fought with the words of diplomats, with gestures of friendship and help to uncommitted countries, even with cultural demonstrations. It is fought indeed on every level of man's experience, for the stakes are high. As one of the adversaries in the conflict, we see a challenge as great as any in our historic past. A challenge not, we hope, to be met and joined in battle, but to be faced and fought in the hearts and hopes of men. It is the challenge of ideas.
Big green monster filled with rage,
Yeah.
Who smashes.
Why does he turn green? Why does the Hulk turn green? Right, like Bruce Banner isn't green, right?
The legit reason has something to do with gamma radiation turning things green.
So midichlorians.
Oh man, you're gonna go there.
Like that's basically the answer, right? Because reasons.
Because reasons.
Yeah, he turns green because reasons.
He gets blasted with gamma radiation, and when he gets angry, maybe he's plant-based, like chloroplast, right? And he engages in photosynthesis, and he produces oxygen into the atmosphere.
Right, instead of carbon dioxide, the Hulk produces oxygen.
Yeah, that's not rage he's unleashing.
That's just pure oxygen.
That's pure oxygen. He's helping the planet.
Yeah. So Bruce Banner is Captain Planet. So do you want to do like the intro?
I thought that was the intro.
No, like my name is Nima Ashtiani. You're listening to Jurisfiction.
Well, actually, my name is Nima Ashtiani.
Your name, right?
You are.
Do you want to do that part?
My name is in fact Nima Ashtiani, and this is Jurisfiction.
My name is Adam Kirshner, and Jurisfiction is a conversation about whether real laws apply to fictional characters or circumstances. And so today we're discussing whether Bruce Banner should be held liable for any acts that the Hulk commits.
Yes, and for anyone who does not know the story of the Hulk,
I don't know the story of the Hulk, so let's start there.
Okay, there's a guy, Bruce Banner, and he was irradiated with gamma radiation, and somehow that meant that whenever he gets angry, he turns big, green, and
muscular, right? Like
yes, super big, super strong, and there's no more Bruce, or Bruce becomes this thing that's filled with rage and smashing things, and this thing identifies itself as Hulk, and generally his only statements are Hulk smash.
So what happens to Bruce? Does he go somewhere? Is he subsumed by the Hulk?
He is, that's a good way to put it. He is subsumed by the Hulk. In fact, the Hulk, whenever identified as Bruce Banner, insults Bruce Banner as if he was a different person and says...
I thought the Hulk only said Hulk smash.
Well, then he learned to say that other thing. Puny Banner is what he calls Bruce Banner.
So the Hulk distinguishes between the Hulk and Bruce Banner.
The Hulk distinguishes between the Hulk and Bruce Banner, yes.
What about Bruce Banner? Does Bruce Banner distinguish between the Hulk and Bruce Banner?
That's an interesting question.
Does anybody talk to Bruce Banner about the Hulk?
Yes, and he'll say things like, in one of the movies that they had, the Avengers, they say, hey, they go to Bruce and say, hey, we need the other guy. The other guy meaning,
the Hulk.
The Hulk.
Does Bruce Banner know what they're talking about? I mean, I wouldn't know what they're talking about, but does Bruce Banner know what they're talking about?
Man, I sure hope so, or that's a really awkward conversation. Like, hey, guy, we need someone else.
Well, what happened when they said, hi, we need the person who's not you? What did he do?
Well, in one of the movies, one of the characters pushed Bruce Banner off a cliff to induce his adrenaline and rage, and then the Hulk flew out of the chasm that he fell in, and there was, quote-unquote, the other guy.
Well, did they literally ask Bruce Banner Or tell Bruce Banner we want the other guy.
They said someone said we could really use the other guy or something like that, right? Like
Okay.
we could really use the Hulk on this one. Like they tend to refer to him as a separate person.
Does he know that he's there with all the other superhero people because he has an alter ego?
Yes.
So he's not like, well, why am I here?
No, he's not oblivious.
So he's aware that he turns into the Hulk.
I mean, I'm sure he's watched the TV.
Is he aware of what the Hulk does?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's watched the TV. You know, that's actually the story of the Hulk itself. Is when he becomes the Hulk, he kind of escapes and tries to go off the grid, so no one finds him and leaves him alone. He tries to subdue the Hulk.
As Bruce or as the Hulk?
As Bruce. He does not want to be the Hulk because the Hulk smash.
So he gets zapped by gamma radiation.
Yes.
All of a sudden he turns into a big green, strong person.
Yes.
He ran amok. Somebody filmed it. He turned back into Bruce Banner. Bruce Banner likes to watch TV.
Mm-hmm.
So while Bruce Banner was watching TV, he saw the Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
And he connected the fact that the Hulk is Bruce Banner.
I think he knew before. Like I think there's something about like.
Okay. I missed a step. He already knew that he was the Hulk. He saw what the Hulk did.
So he knows what the Hulk does after the fact when he sees the destruction. I think he kind of lapses, but he somehow knows that he is the Hulk. Probably because somewhere between turning from Bruce to the Hulk, there's a feeling of anger and turning large and green. But then the Hulk tends to take over. The Hulk tends to come out and be like, hey, I'm in charge of this thing that I'm in now, hence the greenness.
So did he flee so that he would not be around people or objects to harm? Or did he flee because he felt responsible for what the Hulk had done?
Both.
Both.
He flees.
So it seems that he's sensitive to his own liability, right?
Well, you're saying liability. I think that he understands that there's a thing that happens to him that he can't control. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure someone would feel guilty if someone has a dog, let's say, and that dog bites someone. Well, the person who has the dog may feel guilty that dog bit someone. So
the Hulk is Bruce Banner's dog. It's the same guy, right?
It's the same guy, but it's a strange medical condition that he cannot control this thing, right? I guess the idea would be similar to, let's say someone's driving and they have some sort of mental episode, a seizure perhaps, and crashes into someone else. What is their liability under that? And usually something like a seizure is a defense. It's
well, but they're not function. If you have a seizure, you're not functioning. You're not controlling.
Right.
Any of your actions.
Right. Just like Bruce, he has a Hulk-sized semi-seizure, and.
But is the Hulk? The Hulk is a seizure for Bruce. Is the Hulk aware of his actions? Does the Hulk control his actions, or is he just like flailing around?
The Hulk seems aware of his actions.
Right? Does the Hulk specifically pick something up at any point?
Yes, there are many times where the Hulk will.
Right, like is like something flying to him or driving at him, and he like moves it, picks it up, stops it, whatever.
Yes, he.
So the Hulk isn't a seizure.
The Hulk is a seizure to the extent that it incapacitates the ability of Bruce Banner.
But the Hulk is in control of the Hulk.
The Hulk is in control of the Hulk. Yes.
Uh-huh.
And the Hulk has subdued or somehow trapped or prohibited Bruce Banner from acting on Bruce Banner's own volition. In that Bruce Banner goes, I don't want to smash things. And Hulk goes, I don't care what Bruce Banner wants. Hulk want to smash
So
things.
it's multiple personality disorders, right? It's not like a seizure. It's he has two personalities.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
And they're associated with like a physical transformation, right? Like he turns green and gets big and switches to a different personality.
Yes.
But it's still the same individual.
It's still the same body. The same person. Bruce gets bigger, becomes the Hulk. It's the same person both ways.
Yeah. And how would you even be able to hold the Hulk liable for anything? Should he be liable for something? Without also holding Bruce Banner liable. How would you distinguish those two liabilities?
Let's say for the sake of argument, there are two distinct beings that encompass one body. you really, no matter what, you really can't hold one liable. Like, you can't put one in jail without putting the other in jail, right?
Right.
But as far as legal liability goes, does Bruce Banner hold liability for anything that the Hulk does? Or is he just going to suffer the same punishments as the Hulk because of the fact that they share the same body? And I guess my question goes to the fact that I believe that Bruce Banner would at least have a defense if they're determined to be the same person. Bruce Banner would have a defense to say, wait, you can't hold Bruce Banner responsible in that if you can remove the Hulk from Bruce Banner, if you can cure him of his ailment or whatever else, Bruce Banner would not be liable for the actions of the Hulk.
But it's the same individual who committed it. It was just like a different identity.
Right, it's a different identity. So there's no willful act on the part of Bruce Banner.
So he could run amok for years. And if he can somehow reverse the gamma radiation, your theory would absolve him from any liability for anything he did in that entire year.
Unless he knowingly turned into the Hulk, induced himself to rage out, turn into the Hulk for the purpose of knowing that the Hulk would smash things around him. In that case, you can impart liability onto Bruce because he unleashed that thing himself, as opposed to other times when, let's say, he's walking down the street and someone mugs him. That mugger has unleashed the Hulk, has created his own danger. You know, that mugger's probably going to get Hulk smashed, and then Hulk may smash a little more on top of that.
Well, so that part of that is self-defense, but only insofar as it is in proportion to the attack, right? Only insofar as it's necessary to discontinue the mugging, right? Whenever the Hulk's response exceeds that proportionality, somebody is liable for that. And you're saying once the Hulk returns to the form of Bruce Banner, the Hulk is not that somebody who is liable. Or Bruce Banner is not the somebody because he's not green anymore.
Right. As long as Bruce is not the one unleashing the Hulk by Bruce's choice, Bruce will have a defense to anyone that tries to arrest him for property damage or X, Y, and Z crimes. He'll say, these are not crimes of volition. I did not mean to do these things. I was not there. Right. I was asleep. I was trapped. I was inside this body, and something else was. Yes.
It's not my fault. I was green.
Exactly. I use that reasoning for many things that happen.
Right. You think that would fly? Your Honor, it's not my fault. I was green.
I mean, so clearly, you'd probably have to go a little more in depth into that and probably show
Your
that.
Honor, it's not my fault. I was green and angry. Right? Oh, why didn't you say so?
Yeah.
Yeah. You were green and angry. I agree. It's not your fault. That's what the judge would say.
But it's not just that you were green and angry. Judge, I was green and angry, and that green and angry thing was a thing that was not me. Me, Bruce Banner, got trapped, and a guy named the Hulk came out and smashed.
Right. Your Honor, it was not me. I was green and angry and bigger, and I only thought of myself as Hulk. It's not my fault.
It's not my fault. Well, his fault.
I don't buy that.
Yeah.
Was that apparent? Did I make that apparent?
You came in like a wrecking ball on that one.
It's not my fault.
I thought we were on the same page, and then you just dashed my hopes and dreams on that one.
It's not my fault. I was green and angry and referred to myself as the Hulk, and I was like strong. It's not my fault.
Right. I mean, the reason why I believe that you would side with me on this one and realize that Bruce is not that Bruce is not liable for the actions of the Hulk is because given your propensity for being a ghost rights activist, I thought you'd also be a green rights activist.
Well, but the Hulk is not the ghost of Bruce Banner, right?
Or is he?
And the Hulk physically interacted with everything that he smashed.
Which is what led us to this whole issue.
So he entered. For everybody, that's a callback to the first episode. Thank you for listening to all 3 of our episodes, if you in fact have.
And if you haven't, you should probably pause this right now, go back and listen.
Yeah, so that you can get that one joke. So for whom else would those defenses work, right? Your Honor, it's not my fault I was green.
Mm-hmm.
Would that work for anybody else?
Well, I'm going to come up with an example where it wouldn't work to show why there's a distinction. Take Superman.
He's
right?
not green.
He's not green.
Yeah.
But
so if somebody said, I saw somebody in a blue leotard with a red cape smash,
yes,
then it would be a defense. It's not my fault I was green, right? That would be a valid defense for Bruce Banner. I was green. It wasn't me.
It wasn't me. Is a good right. defense.
But when the person who committed it is green, right? There's a witness. They saw a Hulk smash, and they say it was the green guy, right?
Yeah.
It's not my fault that I was green. Is not a valid defense, right? That only incriminates Bruce Banner.
No, look. I fully believe that they would capture Bruce Banner and say, "Look at all this stuff you did," and his excuse is going to be, "I have no idea what you're talking about. I was in some form of green coma, and something else inhabited my body, turned it giant and green, and did all this. I am physically incapable of doing this." But the reason why I brought up Superman is because...
Well, no, he's physically incapable of doing that until he becomes the Hulk, and then he's very physically capable of doing that. And in fact, he did that. But
he's still not capable of doing it. Bruce can't do it.
No, he is capable. He just has to get angry, and then he can do it.
Well,
and... You know, his defense is, it's not my fault, I was angry. Well, you can do that when you're angry. That's only incriminating you. Everything that you use for your defense just implicates you.
Well, look, the distinction I would make is if someone said, hold Clark Kent responsible for the actions of Superman is different. Is very different. Clark Kent is hiding out, so people don't know he's Superman.
Right, those glasses.
Right.
That's his disguise. Now he's wearing glasses.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But so Superman goes out and smashes a building, and someone goes, "Oh well, I know that Clark Kent is Superman." They can go and arrest Clark Kent and say, "You are responsible for the actions that you did." Flying around as Superman. You deliberately try to conceal who you are, and then you cause damage.
So let's juxtapose these, all right? So they arrest Clark Kent. He's wearing glasses, right? So now he's Clark Kent.
Right.
And he says, well, it's not my fault. I was wearing a blue leotard and a red cape.
That's an absolute not juxtaposition.
No, that's right. So he says that.
Right.
You would say, well, no, Clark Kent... You're liable. It doesn't matter that you weren't wearing glasses and you had your blue leotard and red cape on.
Yes,
right?
I would say Clark Kent, you deliberately put on that blue leotard and red cape, and you deliberately smashed those things. You knew as Clark Kent what you were doing, and that's the difference.
Does Bruce Banner wear glasses?
He does wear glasses.
So it's the same disguise, right?
Well, it's not. It's
the voluntariness. I get that, right?
It's the voluntariness, right?
Yeah. All right. So let's try this, right? So it's involuntary, generally, except whenever he deliberately jumps off a cliff to turn himself into the Hulk.
Okay.
But otherwise, it's involuntary, and his argument is, it's not my fault. I was green and angry. Mm-hmm. Let's say the judge buys that. Okay, Bruce, but the Hulk is, liable. We have a warrant out for him.
Right.
And the warrant says we are allowed to make you angry and green so that we can arrest him. Mm-hmm. Right, and let's say that they have probable cause and all of that. There's no problem with the warrant. And then they get the Hulk. They arrest the Hulk and convict the Hulk. Do they have to keep him in the Hulk form while he is serving his sentence?
Well...
Or would it be improper to punish Bruce Banner as Bruce Banner?
Well, I would say that so here's kind of where the issue comes from is how do you handle Bruce when the Hulk is the one at issue? I would say it's similar to someone who has some sort of mental problem, a cognition problem.
Well, they're both. I mean, they both have to go to therapy. Right? It's the one body, and all of the personalities in that body have to go to therapy.
Yes, and so that's the difference is, can they commit Bruce Banner to prevent his rage outs or try to cure him of the Hulk? But there's a public policy argument in that, and that's safety of the public at large. So I would say an individual's rights are being infringed by holding Bruce liable for the actions of the Hulk, arresting him and holding him in a jail cell. But if they put him in a place to try to assist him while at the same time protecting society, you know that he's effectively got a weapon inside him, and it's very destructive. You can't just let him outside. There's still an issue there. But Bruce Banner is still due process, and due process likely gives him the defense of, it wasn't me because the person you're looking at was incredibly angry.
And green.
And green. And I only get sort of angry and not green. The rest of the time it's someone else who calls himself the Hulk.
Who, uses my physical body.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't. I don't join that.
It's a deformity, right? He takes the body and deforms it, makes him bigger and stronger, more so than he already is. And then when he's done with him, goes, okay, I'm going to take all that away from you now.
But it's the same guy.
It's the same body.
Let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
If Bruce Banner gets angry
mm-hmm.
and gets muscular and green,
mm-hmm.
but he calls himself Bruce.
Okay.
Let's say he calls himself Bruce Banner.
Okay.
But he thinks he's not the other Bruce Banner.
Right.
Same body, same name, but he doesn't think he's the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so then Bruce Banner, right, the not green and angry Bruce Banner, gets arrested for what the angry and green Bruce Banner did. And his defense is, well, it wasn't me. The guy who did that was angry and green and named Bruce Banner.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not the same Bruce Banner as I am, even though it's the same body.
Mm-hmm.
What would your conclusion be about his liability?
Same conclusion. It would, but facts-wise, it would be probably a little more difficult to separate them. By that I mean, I assume that a fact finder would say, well, wait, let me get this straight. You both share the same name and you're going to say it's not you. I would say that your burden has become a little heavier because of that fact. But once someone says, I am a completely different person, or if let's say Bruce Banner Hulk says, I don't know this other Bruce Banner you talk about, I'm big green Bruce Banner. Somehow there's a distinction made between non-angry Bruce Banner and angry Bruce Banner, green angry one. We fall into the same line. If it's just simply they both refer themselves as Bruce Banner, I mean, technically same analysis, I would say that you would have a harder time convincing a fact finder that they are two distinct people, which is probably not fair, but it is what it is.
Well, I guess we just disagree on this one. I think that Bruce Banner is liable for the actions of the Hulk, regardless of whether Bruce Banner voluntarily became the Hulk. And if I understand your position correctly, you think that Bruce Banner is only liable for the actions of the Hulk when Bruce Banner voluntarily became the Hulk for the purposes of committing a certain action.
Yes, when Bruce Banner deliberately Hulk smashes, Bruce Banner is liable for the Hulk. But other times he is not liable for the actions of the Hulk.
Well, we disagree, but we'd like to hear what you have to say about that. We're on Twitter at Jurisfiction1, Facebook.com/Jurisfiction, Instagram.com/Jurisfiction. Please let us know.
And thanks for listening.